I'm still old enough to remember a time where people were excited that President Donald Trump was going to try to run the country, the United States of America, of course, like a company. I'm old enough to remember that. So are most of you, probably. You've heard your relatives say that, brag about it, get excited about it. He's going to run America like it's a company. That's what we need. Run it like it's a business. I don't think any of those people actually ever anticipated that meant that Trump and his cronies were going to run this country like a non-unionized business, a large non-unionized corporation that busts unions and mistreats its employees and takes away their rights as often as they possibly can in order to ensure and guarantee more profits. Who are the employees being mistreated in this situation? You, me, them, the people who voted for him, the American people. We're the shitty, disgruntled employees. What do shitty, disgruntled employees do? Honestly, I don't know. I don't have the solution to this big oligarchical problem that faces us every single day. But what I do have is a podcast, and that podcast is called the Short News Podcast. You're here right now. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. Not like that, not like that. Put your pants away. Cue the theme song. Let's go.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
What year has
And welcome back to the Short News Podcast. My name is Alex Mador. This is a podcast where for about 20 to 29 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling, I go on and on and on about how everybody who runs our country is actively working against us. Now, you may ask, or you may wonder, damn, that sounds really stressful. Yeah, it fucking is. If you're new to this show, I say a lot of bad words, and I apologize in advance for my sailor fucking mouth, but what the fuck are we going to fucking do about it, right? You can either stay or fuck off. Anyways, any fuck, any shits, what's been going on? You know, I have tried so hard to keep my personal life out of the public, out of the, talking about the news and the commentary that I'm going to be giving you momentarily. But I feel like it's about damn time to go over some things here. So hi. Yeah, welcome back to what's been going on in my world over here before we go into the politics. Still living in the beautiful, great state of New York. I won't say where, but it's beautiful, believe me. A lot of people are saying it. It's quite beautiful. I still work at a vet hospital, which is why I come here and I sound exhausted and frustrated and tired most of the time. And, one thing that I've prided myself off the last 15 months of my life is my abstinence and this whole new me that's holding out for the right person or whatever to prove that they don't need somebody physically or emotionally or whatever. They're not going to turn themselves into someone whose identity completely revolves around being somebody for somebody else, being a partner or a boyfriend or whatever. Well, it looks like that period of my life has come to an end. The abstinence period is over. I don't have a soundboard. There's no applause or any stupid sounds to implement here. It's just me recording this in my car. So, just you can imagine applause or not. You can just go, ew, gross. But that kind of speaks numbers to where I think, my energy is going to go in this episode and what I think this is going to be like moving forward now that I'm not locking myself down in a tower like a wizard in a self-sequestered, I don't know, quarantine. Why was I doing this? We don't need to go into that. That's for an after hours segment. We'll do that another day. Exploring, attachment styles and finding oneself and what is self in general and all of that. Your boy did a little bit more acid than he wanted to have done last summer, but it paid off. My point here being, yeah, so life update, I'm not abstinent anymore. I did some things, and those things were great. And that's all that needs to be said about that, right? It was beautiful, believe me. A lot of people are saying I lasted very long, the longest. That's what they're saying. They're saying he didn't last 10 to 15 minutes and go, "Oh, sorry. It's been a while. I don't know. I don't know how to do this anymore." He didn't say that. Believe me, that's not what was happening. Apparently the Trump impression is coming back. I'm going to do a really, really great job of not turning that into something that I use and depend on when I feel the need to hide behind something, hoping to use it mainly and mostly in the context of the guy himself and his platform and his politics and what he's doing to the world through legislation, not just what he's saying. We'll get there, right? We'll get there. Trump, what has he been up to lately? Yeah, that's a great question. Great question that I regret having to talk about every week. But like I said, this is a man who is hell bent on running this country like a company, which includes, diverting budget to asset protection. So taking the company budget and prioritizing asset protection over employees' rights, over things like healthcare. We're not getting any of that. Or, affordability of living, cost of living. Fuck that. That's not happening. You're not getting any perks in this job of being an American. You're barely getting paid. Or you're getting paid, and every time you get a raise, the prices go up to adjust to fuck you over just as much as you were being fucked over before you got that raise. Taxes, where are those going? Those are like your union dues if you are employed in a job that has a union. Either way, you're being squeezed for something, but what was my point here? Right. He's treating the American people like they're disgruntled employees of his. He doesn't care what happens to you or me. He only cares about himself, his own profits, the executives of his company. So in this case, that would be his cabinet members, that would be his family members, that would be his associates, people who work for him and benefit him in some sort of way. He will make sure that they are protected, that they are well paid, that they are taken care of, because they're his cronies. It's Donald Trump we're talking about, not like a selfless guy like Jesus, like he wants to make himself out to be. I'm so curious about after he posted the AI photo of himself as Jesus healing somebody, and then after he apparently did it again. I don't know how true that is. I don't go on Truth Social because I actually appreciate the last bit of sanity that I do have left inside of my head. But apparently he did it again. I'm wondering if this guy has AI psychosis. We know he's probably demented and that he's been showing signs of dementia that people have really been locking on and locking in on the last couple of weeks in his public appearances. And I agree that there's something about the way that he's been lately that seems a bit demented. But at the same time, when I think about the last maybe like 5 years of Trump being in media, 5 or 6 years of Trump being in media, he's just progressively become more and more unhinged and more mask off, where I have to wonder, is this just the way that he's always been? And he now feels more comfortable being this way? Like the other day, he had a speech or a rally or something I saw the footage of where he's up there doing the thing where it looks like he's jerking off two ghosts. And he's going, I'm not kidding. He's going, I'm gonna, and those fucking noises, the way that I did them, that's not an exaggeration. You can look it up. He's like, I'm gonna, like, I didn't get the context to that, but it seemed like somebody describing how they nut. And if that was, holy shit, that's the president of the United States doing that. Like, imagine, and I've done this before for FDR with like the fireside chats, but imagine if Obama did even a portion of that. I don't even know if I can do that as an impersonation. I was in the bedroom with Michelle. It would just be that's his sound. I can't imagine the Obama nutting sound. I don't even want to try to do what I imagine the Obama nutting sound is. And I feel like that would put me on a list if I even attempted it on pod. And listen, I'm a guy who says fuck Israel at least once an episode. Fuck Israel, by the way. And this is what scares me. What would that even sound like? Obama nutting. Oh, no, stop. We're not going to do that. I'm going to hopefully edit that out later. And if I don't, then this is my gift to you. Congratulations. Well, let me be clear. I busted. Let me be clear. I'm about to bust. My fellow Americans, I have busted. Such a brilliant orator, that guy. I miss him every day. Even with the war crimes aside, every fucking American president ends up being a war criminal. You have to. It's part of the job. It's a requirement, which sucks for all of us. Because imagine, okay, here's an interesting question. Here's a very interesting question. And I know my stream of consciousness is also a little bit demented, like the president today. I'm just getting off of a work shift. Suck my dick. The fact that I can even speak words right now after the shit that I've been fucking going through is a testament to resilience, to human strength. Not my strength, just to human strength and resilience in general. And okay, so I know I've been sounding a little demented here, and I'm sorry. What was I saying before I fucking went on another tangent? Fuck me. Right. So I've been noticing that we've been getting a lot more listenership lately in other countries, like in European countries, in Vietnam, all of a sudden. Who else have I've been, wow, the stutter. Who else have I been seeing here? Australia. So are you guys coming here to see what it's like in America? And second question, follow-up question, how do you guys perceive us? When you talk about America with your friends or your peers, whether you're in Hanoi or whether you're in Perth or whether you're in, I don't know, Ho Chi Minh. I saw a lot of you in Ho Chi Minh now. Welcome. Very interesting perspective that I would love to hear from y'all in Ho Chi Minh. Definitely after what we put you guys through years back. Anyways, so yeah, people who are outside of America, if you want to comment on Spotify or send me a DM online or whatever, I would love to hear your feedback on when you and your friends or your family talk about America. Talk about the United States of America. I'm sorry. To call it America is fucked up. What is that like? What is the general consensus? Because I've asked people this before, and what I've heard is we think you're a joke, but we're also really scared of you. We also know how dangerous that you guys are with your weapons and the military complex and all of that. So are we a dangerous clown to the rest of the world? Is that how we're seen? I'm not mad about it at you guys because I agree as somebody who even lives in America, as someone who has tried to enlist in the military multiple times as a young person who was told they couldn't because he was a child. He was 16. My parents wouldn't let me. I mean, good on them, I guess. One of the only good things they ever. Anyways, what I was going to talk about today, after I got sidetracked a million bajillion times, is I've been reading a lot about workers' rights, which this does segue from what we were talking about before about a certain somebody running the country like it's a company. I want to talk about like workers' rights when it comes to automation and automation related technology and how that's been messing up the modern American workers' rights or mental health or pay or just overall ability to survive in this country. And it's very sad. But what we're seeing now is that there are now automation-based scheduling softwares that employers are using instead of having a human being do that in order to optimize profits and minimize budget. And the issue that we're having now with that, I'm not going to do a great job at explaining this, but these automation-based scheduling programs that are making people's work schedules, dictating how they work, when they work, and for how long they work, and if they can or cannot have breaks. Dude, it is taking the humanity away from humans. And what I mean by that is you're now seeing people scheduled at unreasonable times. They're not getting full time anymore. They're not getting breaks in between jobs or breaks in general. Like there's this one company who employs people to do translations or what is that? Like interpreting, sign language interpreting. And, services such as that, they hire people who are either translators or interpreters to work from home or work wherever they're working and get assigned to somebody to help them with whether it be like a court case or I mean, we've talked to these guys in vet med too. Like they'll sit on the phone and interpret for somebody. It's a tough job. You're being that personal translator or interpreter in real time, and you're doing this multiple times a day for multiple different people throughout the day. And it used to be the case that these interpreters would have breaks in between each call or each session, even 2 minutes. They'd get like a 2-minute break at most in between sessions. Now, with the new automated software, they're required to only take 15 seconds in between calls before they start another. That is because the system that is running their lives now or running their jobs or telling them when and how to do their jobs and when they can start or stop isn't run by a human with human needs anymore. An AI does not need a break. An AI is not factoring in, well, hey, this person, they're going to get tired. They're not going to be able to do their job as well for us if they get tired and we don't give them a couple of fucking minutes here and there to just reset before hopping on another intense call where they have to be like a liaison between two different parties again and again and again. Nope, they're just cracking the whip. This is a huge problem in modern America. And we've seen this already before with things like DoorDash or Uber Eats or Uber in general. Yeah, like these people are kind of like they're being their own bosses. Everything is done digitally. It's automated. It's run by like an automated system on servers somewhere. There's not a lot of human involvement in the assigning of orders or the assigning of jobs. The problem with that, though, is the system or the algorithm that is assigning these orders is not taking into consideration, okay, has this person had a break? Does this person need to get gas? Is this trip that I'm asking this person to take really optimal for them? Is it going to be something that is going to cost them? Or will they actually make some money here? I mean, DoorDash and Uber Eats has always been sending people like the longest fucking trips for minimal pay, where it doesn't even make sense for them because they end up using more gas and spending more money on gas than they would be making on a shorter trip that paid more. The automated system doesn't do that. It just keeps throwing you orders. And if you decline an order because, let's say, you're a DoorDash driver and you thought about it for a second and you went, well, this isn't worth my time. They punish you for that. If you decline like a certain amount, your rating goes down. They don't give you as many high paying orders. They really, really slam you for trying to advocate for yourself in this job. And there's no one you can actually speak to about that. The support system, there are people that are fucking located in India. They don't care. They're being paid minimal. They're not being paid to care. They're being paid to do a fucking job. And at this point, they've probably been outsourced to AI too. Like the last time that I was a DoorDash or an Uber Eats driver was maybe like 4 years ago. Like I had just finished college. I was looking for any odd jobs to fucking do. So that was what I was doing for the time being. And God, it would get so frustrating because you would decline order after order after order because they would keep giving you like 10, 15, 20 mile orders that were only going to be paying you like $2.50. And how does that even make sense for you? That doesn't make sense for anyone. So now they're door dashing American jobs, not just gig economy jobs or not just freelance work, jobs. You go into being an interpreter, which is a job that requires an education and knowing another language and a certain amount of patience and experience. You're being treated like you're part of an assembly line that's never allowed to stop. They're assigning the expectation that you will work like an AI and not complain like an AI who wouldn't complain. With this mutualistic, unspoken understanding that technology is going to a place where they will very easily replace you in that job with the AI. So if you can't do the job that the AI can and will do for less money and with zero breaks, then to these money-hungry fuckers who own these companies, what the hell is the point of even keeping you on their payroll? You see what I'm saying here? They're engineering a situation where the conditions are so unworkable for a human. It's not impossible, but so exhausting and so unworkable and unsustainable, again, for a human, that the only people that are going to be left doing those jobs are not people. They're going to weed out those jobs and careers and replace them. They're getting rid of human labor. They have been getting rid of human labor. We're seeing it slowly in some cases, but very fast in others. When was the last time that you went on a website for like your car insurance or for your health insurance or for whatever you're paying for that is a service that you needed to get support for or reach tech support for? And if it were recently, when was the last time that you reached out to that support service and actually got a fucking human being, not ChatGPT 5.0? Because you can always tell. I see these memes all the time about like DHL's support is ChatGPT. McDonald's is using an LLM for their support. You guys are telling me you're multi-bajillion fucking dollar corporation and you're acting like you can't afford to employ human beings. Motherfucker, this is how we've done it for how long? You just see the grass being greener on the other side where it's automated and inhuman. Just like your fucking feelings about these things. My God, like, if it's anyone that needs to be replaced with AI, if it's anyone that needs their jobs taken away only to be, substituted with automation, it's the executives, not the skilled labor. If we're talking like money crunchers, fucking CFOs, glorified accountants, CEOs, all of that bullshit could be done by an AI, and it would probably be done more ethically, too. That's just my opinion. But sometimes my opinion can be pretty fucking based. I don't know if it will be this time, but I am very concerned about where jobs are going. Because the second any industry can replace their employees with faceless ones, faceless cogs, who don't complain, who don't need to sleep, who don't need to be paid, who don't need a living wage or benefits or food, who don't think about survival, who don't really think truly, then they'll do it. They'll do it in a heartbeat. We're seeing it happen. Like, I'm scared of that even happening in VetMed. They just implemented like this new software that transcribes communications for us so we don't have to log our communications if we don't want to. And yeah, sure, it's optional right now for us. You can opt in or opt out because people at work do have like ethical qualms about this type of technology, as like I do, which is why I don't use it. But we're seeing like they're going to replace receptionists, essentially, is what I see there. Once this thing can take emergency calls, Comlog, and then like do an intake and all of that shit, which we're not far off from, if I'm being honest. We're really not that far off from that. Like we're that industry is fucked. That's another industry gone. And think about how many of those out there that there are. So I'm going to leave you on that doom and gloom there because I'm exhausted and I need to fucking eat something and relax. But I'll be back next week, as I say most weeks. I appreciate you guys for listening to me rant as fucking all over the place as this one has been. This has been the Short News Podcast. My name is Alex Mador. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you, or you'll hear me, on the next one. Take care, everyone.